can still do a lot of the things I did as a kid. I won't ride a motorcycle, a horse, or ski down a mountain, but I'll do almost everything else. And I'm still here." He dated the president's daughter and was investigated by the FBI, but that wasn't even his biggest scandal. At 855, George Hamilton finally talks about the $12 million who went missing from his bank accounts, the secret health crisis that almost killed him, and the shocking truth about why he really moved back to Palm Beach. From KFC ads to cancer scares, Hollywood's most mysterious playboy is finally ready to say all. George Hamilton was born in Memphis, Tennessee, on August 12, 1939. His father, George William Spike Hamilton, was a band leader who took his band all over the country. Lucille Stevens, Spike's mother, was a Southern socialite from Beeville, Arkansas. Their life was fancy, but their marriage was difficult. In 1944, Spike had an affair with a singer in his band, and the couple split up, leaving Anne to raise their children on her own, and moved her family to Baton Rouge by herself, where George spent his early years with his grandparents. Life there was peaceful, full of Southern charm and stability, but in 1947, both grandparents died suddenly, which changed everything. Anne, who was now struggling to support her children, made a brave choice. She flipped a coin to see if they would move to New York or Hollywood. The coin landed on Hollywood, so she packed their bags and headed west, hoping for a new start. George's life in Hollywood wasn't stable. He got married and divorced several times, which meant that he constantly moved between cities like New York, Boston, Beverly Hills, and Palm Beach. He went to elite boarding schools, military ACMs, and private institutions, getting used to new places over and over again. These experiences shaped his personality. He learned how to charm people, fit in, and stand out when it mattered. By the time he got to high school in Palm Beach, George already had a natural confidence. During his senior year, he discovered his love for acting when he starred in a production of Brigadoon and won the title of Best Actor in Florida in a statewide competition. That moment changed everything for him. He realized that acting wasn't just a hobby, it was his future. In 1957, just before graduating from high school, he made a decision that would change his life. He returned to Hollywood with the goal of becoming an actor. It wasn't easy. He lived simply and took on small roles wherever he could. His good looks and charm quickly caught the attention of casting directors. Soon he was on TV shows like The Donna Reed Show and The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin. He was just getting started, but Hollywood was already paying attention. In 1959, when he was only 20, he got his first major role in Crime and Punishment USA, which was based on Dost's novel but moved the action from 19th century Russia to the 1956. Santa Monica Hamilton played Robert Cole, a law student who kills a pawn shop owner and struggles with guilt while a detective closes in on him. It was a tough and intense role. For a newcomer, Hamilton played the part with both confidence and vulnerability. His performance was so good that he won a Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer and was nominated for a BAFTA for Best Foreign Actor. Critics compared him to Anthony Perkins, who had just become famous in Psycho 1960. They had the same look and dark screen presence, which worked in Hamilton's favor. Hollywood was always looking for actors who could follow in the footsteps of rising stars, and his resemblance to Perkins helped him get the part. Some critics liked the film's noir-inspired cinematography and jazz-infused score, while others thought it strayed too far from the original story. But one thing was clear. Hamilton had made an impression, even though the movie had a small budget. It showed he could carry a film as a lead actor. Before moving into Hollywood movies, Hamilton gained experience on TV. In 1958, he appeared in The Veil, a supernatural series hosted by Boris Karloff. Production problems kept the show from airing, but it later gained a following. Hamilton played different characters in eerie, suspenseful stories which gave him a chance to show how versatile he was. Around the same time, he also appeared in The Donna Reed Show, a popular family sitcom. It was a completely different genre, but it helped him gain confidence and exposure on screen. Then he came Home from the Hill in 1960, directed by Vincente Minnelli. The movie was about a wealthy but troubled Southern family, and Hamilton played Theon Hutt, the sensitive son. The film was about a young man trying to find his place in the world. It was a coming-of-age story with family problems, expectations, and heartbreak. Hamilton's performance captured the struggle of a young man trying to find his place in the world. The film was a critical and commercial success, and working with stars like Mitchum and Evan Parker pushed Hamilton to prove himself. Minnelli had seen Hamilton's talent after watching Crime and Punishment USA and thought he was the right choice for the role. Hamilton into a Hollywood heartthrob, but more importantly, it showed that he had acting skills to back it up. He wasn't just another good-looking guy. He could give complex characters depth and emotion. His resemblance to Anthony Perkins continued to be a double-edged sword. It helped him get noticed, but it also meant that he was constantly compared to Perkins. Some critics thought he wasn't as intense as Perkins, but they did praise his charm and screen presence. Hollywood often tried to fit actors into certain types, and Hamilton didn't fit the bill. In the 1960s, George Hamilton's rise to fame was sudden and unexpected. His big break came with Where the Boys Are in 196, a movie that captured the angst and rebellion of young Americans. The movie followed 4 college girls on a spring break trip to Florida as they explored love and changing social norms. Hamilton played Ryder Smith, a smooth Ivy League student who wins the heart of Dolores Hart's character. The movie wasn't just a hit, it started a trend that thousands of students followed, started going to Florida for spring break, making it a tradition. The movie's title song, sung by Connie Francis, became a huge hit, adding to its influence. Hamilton wasn't just an actor anymore, he was a symbol of sophistication and charm. 2 years later, he played a more serious role in Light in the Piazza 1962. It was a love story with deeper emotional layers. Hamilton played Fabrizio Norelli, a young Italian who falls in love with an American tourist played by Aiti Mimu. However, her character had an intellectual disability which made things more difficult. Even though he was only in one episode as a murderer, Hamilton made every role memorable with his quick wit and comedic timing. In 2015, he went one step further by starring in his own reality show called Stewarts and Hamiltons, which aired on E! And followed his blended family, which included his ex-wife Alana Stewart, their son Ashley Hamilton, and Alana's children from her marriage to Rod Stewart. It wasn't just about fame, it was about family. Hamilton came across as a father figure with effortless charm and someone who knew how to enjoy life no matter what stage he was on. The show only lasted 1 season, but it gave fans something they had never seen before, a real look at the man behind the Hollywood image. During his career, Hamilton had played many roles, but in Stewarts and Hamiltons, he wasn't acting. He was just being himself. George Hamilton has spent decades perfecting his acting skills. His famous tan but years of sunbathing eventually did a lot of damage to his health. He started tanning early and never stopped. He used sun reflectors long after most people stopped using them. He spent hours in the sun and even used tanning beds to keep his golden glow. But the damage was too much to ignore over time. After several skin cancer scares, he had to have surgery to remove cancerous growths from his forehead and ear in 2024. The problem with the surgery sent him to the hospital for 4. After an unexpectedly popping suture, Hamilton finally switched to safer tanning alternatives. Now, instead of relying on the sun, he uses auto-bronzing creams, including one he once sold on QVC. His decision is part of a larger shift happening around the world as more people become aware of the dangers of UV exposure. He went from being one of the last celebrities to use fake tanning to an outspoken advocate for sun safety. Looking back, he admits that a tan may look good, but the risks are too high. Beyond his change in skin care, Hamilton has also become more concerned about his health. He avoids sugar, which he says is the worst thing a person can eat, and his meals are mostly organic green beans, colorful vegetables, and omega-3 rich fish. He bases his diet on the Mediterranean diet and research into longevity, believing that food is the key to staying energetic. Every day he drinks smoothies with kale, goji berries, almonds, and bananas to stay healthy. He makes sure he gets all the nutrients he needs by not eating any processed foods. He also fasts 4 times a year, sometimes for as long as 9 days. He thinks this helps detoxify his body and keeps his organs strong. On top of that, he takes a lot of supplements, such as vitamins E, C, A, D, B complex minerals, CoQ10, fish oil, and melatonin. This routine has helped him keep his mind sharp and his skin smooth, even though he is getting on being in his late 80s. Palm Beach, where he spent most of his teenage years going to Palm Beach High School and learning how to get along in high society. His mother was a socialite and his father was a society band leader who introduced him to an elite world where charm and style were just as important as talent. As a young man, he frequented Green's Pharmacy and even ran into John F. Kennedy. He later said that Palm Beach was both a prep school and a finishing school, teaching him how to be a good citizen. He learned the skills that would make him famous in Hollywood. Now that he's back, he's joined the social scene just like he did before. You can often find him at Swifties at the Colony Hotel, a historic spot that famous people like the Duke and Duchess of Windsor visited. He looks great in well-tailored suits or bright sweaters from Worth Avenue boutiques, and he fits right in with the glitzy crowd. During lunch, he entertains his guests with stories from his time in Hollywood. Some locals have even suggested he run for mayor, but he laughs it off. People think he doesn't care about politics and just wants to enjoy life, but even at 855 years old, Hamilton isn't just thinking about the past. He's getting ready for a one-man show that will tour the U.S. and Europe. The show will feature the best parts of his career, from movies like Home from the Hill, 1960, and Light in the Piazza, 1962, to his roles as Hank Williams, Evil Condoval, and even Colonel Sanders in KFC commercials. True to his style, he plans to include a lot of humor and share personal stories and behind-the-scenes moments. Fans can look forward to stories about his early days teaching ballroom dancing and the time he drove an old Rolls-Royce just to look good when money was tight.